My chemistry teacher wouldn't let a kid get his emergency sugar, so the whole class froze. Mr. Harrison ran AP chemistry like he was training soldiers instead of teaching teenagers. He had rules for everything. No whispering, no phones, no moving once class started. The one everyone feared was Rule 17. During critical demonstrations, no one left the room for any reason. He said if we were old enough for AP chemistry, we were old enough to plan our bodies better. Nobody laughed after a month with him. He loved making examples out of people. A girl got detention for sneezing while he was talking. A guy lost lab privileges for asking to sharpen a pencil during notes. By October, everybody had learned to sit still, keep quiet, and wait for the bell. Tyler Fisher sat in the back by the windows. He never made noise, never caused trouble, and still got the highest grade on every test. He had type 1 diabetes, but most people barely noticed because he handled it quietly. The first week of school, I watched him hand Harrison a doctor's note before class. Harrison skimmed it, slid it into his desk drawer, and said, "Medical condition or not, my classroom, my rules." Tyler didn't argue. He just nodded and went to his seat. I'd noticed a monitor buzzing softly under his desk and a juice box tucked in the side pocket of his bag. The day it all blew up was the Colored Flame demo, Harrison's favorite show of the year. He talked about it for days like we were about to witness history. When class started, he had the lights dimmed, burners ready, salts lined up in neat rows, and an excited grin on his face. He pulled us into a semicircle around the front table and reminded us that nobody was to move until the full demonstration was complete. Then he pointed at the rule sheet by the sink. The first flames were actually cool: red, green, orange. The room kept flashing different colors while Harrison explained each chemical like he was the star of his own show. About 15 minutes in, I heard a small alarm sound. Tyler was staring into his lap. His face had gone pale, and there was sweat on his forehead even though the room was cold. He swallowed hard, raised his hand, and waited. Harrison saw him and kept talking anyway. Tyler kept his hand up until Harrison finally paused. "Mr. Harrison, I need to go to my bag." Harrison didn't even turn around. "You know the rule, Mr. Fisher." Tyler glanced toward his desk. "It's for my diabetes." Harrison clicked his tongs on the table and said, "This is the most important demonstration of the unit. You can wait 10 minutes. A few people shifted and looked at each other. Tyler lowered his hand, checked his monitor again, and this time I could see his fingers shaking. He raised his hand a second time. "Sir, my blood sugar is dropping. I need glucose from my bag now." Harrison turned then, crossed his arms, and gave him that tight smile he used when he thought somebody was lying. Nobody laughed. Even the kids who usually sucked up to Harrison stayed quiet. Tyler's lips were pressed together now, and he looked like he was trying very hard not to panic. He said louder this time, "I'm not asking to leave. I need sugar, right now." Harrison stepped in front of the table. "Sit down. Stop disrupting my class." The whole room felt wrong after that. You could hear the burners hissing. One girl near me whispered, "This is bad." Tyler looked at Harrison for a long second, then at the rest of us staring back at him. He gave this tiny shrug and said, "Okay, you were warned." Then he walked straight past Harrison. Harrison snapped, "Do not take another step." Tyler ignored him, grabbed his backpack from his stool, unzipped the side pocket, and pulled out his emergency kit with hands shaking so hard the zipper rattled. Harrison started toward him again, still trying to act in control, but Tyler was already moving. Right there at the front table, next to the blue flame Harrison had been building up all class, Tyler dropped to one knee, tore open a tube of glucose gel with his teeth, squeezed it into his mouth, then followed it with 2 glucose tablets from the kit. The room went dead silent. Nobody cared about the demonstration anymore. We were all just watching Tyler breathe through it while Harrison stood there frozen, holding the metal tongs like he'd forgotten what they were for. Tyler checked his monitor again and said in the calmest voice I'd ever heard, "When my sugar drops, I treat it immediately. I told you that twice." Harrison opened his mouth, shut it, and looked around the room at 30 kids staring at him like he was out of his mind. One of the burners hissed out, and the blue flame disappeared. Then somebody in the back said, "So the rule's still more important, sir?" Harrison didn't answer. He just stepped aside while Tyler sat against the cabinet, still holding his kit, and for the first time, Mr. Harrison had absolutely nothing to say. Now some teachers are saying I humiliated him. Was I wrong?